All right, welcome everybody around the world. Welcome to all my subscribers. Tonight, I just solved something a short while ago, a few minutes ago, and it blew my mind. A few years ago, I received a prophecy. Very few things like that have occurred in my life, and this was one that was so obscure I couldn't make any sense of it. I spent a lot of time researching what I could at the time, and I just couldn't make sense of it. It didn't really apply to anything. It seemed very ambiguous. But anyways, long story short, I'm pretty sure I just solved it earlier. So I'll relay what it was that God or an angel spoke to me, but the message was from God. I'm not trying to claim that God appeared in front of me and spoke to me or anything like that there. But it was during so this is what occurred. This is what was said, and it's 100% after the world events today with the heads of Hamas being taken out. I still, when I heard that, I still hadn't pieced it together until I was thinking later on, just earlier this evening. Oh yeah, God told me that statement a few years ago, and I stopped and I thought and I looked at the Hebrew and I had a huge revelation. So this is what was said to me a few years ago. I was doing a spiritual, reflection study with my eyes closed, thinking about God and all of that there, and then by itself, under its own power, I heard, and I don't hear voices, by the way. This is like a one-off strange occurrence in my life. And I testified about it when it occurred years ago on my channel, right? So I know that there's many other people out there who've seen that and have heard me talk about this before. Some of my subscribers might know, they might remember. I'm not just making this up. So what happened was I heard this voice, powerful, commanding voice, and it struck me as so bizarre because I don't hear things, and for me to hear something was very, very bizarre. But the voice was very clear, and what it said to me was, and I'm pretty sure I've got what it said word for word down like near 100%. But the first thing it said to me was a Hebrew sounding word that I'd never heard before, which was Tau Fesh. I thought it said Fesh with like a SH on the end. And I think that was one of my stumbling blocks why I couldn't solve it over the years. But anyways, I'll explain. But the first thing that was said was Tau Fesh. And I remember I wasn't 100% sure if it was a sh sound at the end or not, but that's the essence of what it sounded like. It was a definite tau and then fe ending in a sh or whatever consonant sound. So tau fesh. Now, the voice immediately then said afterwards, I wasn't seeing any vision or anything. It was just audio. It was just auditory, right? And the voice then said, I can't remember which sentence it said first, but it said, it must have said this one first. So it said two statements, and that was it, right? The first one was, bring the heads of my enemies before me, and then let the heads of my enemies be shattered. When I heard the voice say that, it struck me because that's like a pretty powerful, commanding type of statement to make, right? But I had no clue what this applied to. It was just, I heard it clear as day. And it struck me as I'm hearing this for a reason. It was being spoken to me. I heard it for a reason. This not just jibber jabber. And these type of things never happened with me, right? So I always remembered what it said. Now I could never solve it. I looked up Tau Fesh and I couldn't find any Hebrew word with it. Now, long story short, I just solved it earlier. Like about an hour ago. I know, and I've been known about the Hebrew letter Tau, Tautav, Tau, right? And I could never find a match for Fesh. There's Nefesh, which is soul, like living soul. But I could never find what a root would be in Hebrew for Fesh or something like that until tonight, when I prodded a bit deeper into Tau, and I found that it was the 22nd letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Okay. Now in Judaism, they like to go real deep with words and letters and this and that there. And that's my little study avenue I went tonight. So it's the 22nd letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Then I thought to myself, because I still couldn't find a result for Fesh and this and that there, I thought, okay, let me just guess something here. I thought this is 22. what if when God said Tau Fesh or whatever it was actually a little mathematical puzzle? So what if he was saying 22 plus something? And I thought to myself, well, I believe and have been teaching that the end days is coming 2024. Let me get my book real quick. I always forget to have the book ready, right? Been saying it for 8 years on YouTube. So, and my other book as well, right? But what if he was revealing 2024, the year 24, right? So I thought to myself, okay, let me look up what the second letter of the Hebrew alphabet is. And lo and behold, it's Bet, B-E-T. But in Hebrew, the B is a V. So it's Vet. And then I thought to myself, Tau Vet. That's a good enough match for me because I wasn't 100% certain on the consonant sound that ended the word. Tau Vet. Now, that's interesting because in all the last few years, I was trying to research what Tau Fesh could be. The closest I could come was Tophet, right? And again, because the consonant sound at the end. So when I learned that it's 22 and 2, Tau Vet is 22 and 2, which is 24, that struck me even harder because yesterday, the two heads of Hamas were taken out. And what was that statement that God had said to me, or the angel from God had said to me? He said, Tau Fesh, Tau Vet, 24, bring the heads of my enemies before me, and let the heads of my enemies be shattered. And what took place yesterday and today, two of those heads were shattered. Okay? And there's been some other ones in recent months or weeks as well that have passed. These enemies, these heads that have been shattered. So that cannot be a coincidence. So to me, I think what God had actually revealed to me, the angel or whatever, was in 24, these things would happen. I feel foolish and ignorant because in all this time, it never occurred to me that God was giving me a slight little gentle puzzle. I took it, I guess, face value. I just didn't look deeper, but there it is, clear as day. Tau Vet. In 24, the heads of the enemies will be shattered, and it's already started. So I have to say that I'm believing even stronger that the end of days is upon us. And I don't want to spoil my next video. I'm keeping it in a separate video. I can get into that after I go somewhere real shortly, right? So we may not have much time left on this earth, but if we have a few more months or whatever, it would be worth, no matter who you are, what walk of life or faith or religion, it'd be worth getting these two books here. This one's $11.11 is pretty cheap. This one's $22.99. You get both books for $33 or whatever it is, right? That totals to. It could very well save your soul. This one wouldn't necessarily save your soul. It tells you when the end is coming based on the biblical prophecies. But this one could very well save your soul. Okay, so I urge everybody go get that. We may not even have time left. Like it could happen any day now. And I don't want to get into it. I'm going to talk about it in my upcoming video later. But it could happen any day now, folks. And I'm sorry, but that obscure prophetic statement that was said to me all these years confounded me. And I just thought, it must be meaningless. Maybe I just heard something, my brain, I had a brain fart. My brain just, I could audibly hear it like it was real, but, maybe it was just like a brain fart. But nope. 24, the heads of the enemies be shattered. So all I can say is you don't want to be the enemy of God, right? Especially at this time. So you better get right with God. Turn to God, repent, reform. That's what everybody's got to do. You got to do that. Trust me when I say that. So anyways, I'm looking forward to making money. I'm happy because with these world events taking place, it's not that I'm celebrating the passing of these opponents, but it's the very fact that these are the prophecies of Ezekiel coming true, right? So anyways, I'll leave it at that for this video here. Tau Vet 24. Take care, folks. God bless.